Hey guys, in this video we're going to learn how to factor a basic trinomial, and the first coefficient, or the leading coefficient, is going to be able to be factored out, so our a is actually 1 and not a number other than that. So taking a look at this example, we have a 3a squared minus 24a minus 60. So I'm looking at all three numbers, and it seems like we could probably factor out a greatest common factor that's not 1 or negative. So I'm going to draw my rectangular box and list all of my factors inside of this little area here. So we have a 3a squared, negative 24a, and a negative 60. Now looking at all three terms, we have 3a squared minus 24a minus 60. It looks like that we can divide each term by 3, so we're going to factor out the 3. When we factor out the 3, we're left with an a squared minus 8a minus 20. So in looking at all three terms again, what's left over is just probably the greatest common factor to be 1. So then that would be it. So the greatest common factor that we'd have to take out first is just 3. So when we factor it out on the left-hand side, we're left with a 3 on the outside, a squared minus 8a minus 20. So now, since the greatest common factor has been taken out, we're going to create our diamond. And the bottom diamond is our product of a times c, which is negative 20. Top part of the diamond is just our b term, which is negative 8. So now we have to think of two numbers that we can put in our two remaining diamonds that would multiply together to get a negative 20, but then add together to get a negative 8. Got it. We have a negative 10 plus 2. So negative 10 plus 2 will give you negative 8. Negative 10 times 2 will give you negative 20. So now we're going to replace our negative 8a with negative 10a and plus 2a. So we're going to keep the 3 on the outside. We have an a squared minus 10a plus 2a minus 20. So now we have two groups, our a squared minus 10a, and our second group has 2a minus 20. So we're going to look at the first group only and see what we can factor out. Looks like we can divide both an a squared and a negative 10a by an a. So we have an a times a minus 10, because that's what's left over after you factor out the a in the first group only. Second group, we have a 2 in common, so we have a positive 2, and we're left with an a minus 10. So looking at both groups again, it seems like both groups have a factor of a minus 10 that we can factor out, so we're left with a 3 on the outside, and then a minus 10 times a plus 2. This is completely factored, and now we are done. So now we factored 3a squared minus 24a minus 60 by pulling out the GCF first of 3, and then remaining with our a squared minus 8a minus 20 into our diamond, and then we factored by grouping until it is completely factored.